Hey, what is up guys? It's Stray back again with another analysis video. Hope you guys enjoy these because today's analysis is for TSM versus Cloud9 in the Pulse Invitational quarterfinal. TSM has been on a hot streak lately showing very strong play, but for this match they got completely rolled by C9. Join me as I take you through how C9 plowed through TSM. For our question of the day, I want to ask you what esport org is your favorite? For me, I really like T1 as they have all the old school CSGO players and I really want to see them dominate again like before. Hopefully they can hit their stride soon and we'll see a lot of great Valorant matches in the future between all these organizations. I'm really excited for the future of Valorant. Now let's get into the game, shall we? For TSM, they are running their notorious Sageless comp. They have Brim, Omen, Phoenix, Sova, and Cypher. This is actually a very good comp on this map because of how prevalent operators are on these long angles, and cutting off sightlines against operators are very effective for teams to move up on. Any agent who can obstruct vision is really good against operators, and in this team we see 4 with Brim, Omen, Phoenix, and Cypher. Even though they don't have a Sage, in the highest level the heal isn't completely necessary as players will die very quickly. The resurrection is extremely nice to have though. For C9, we see a completely different comp with Jett, Sage, Cypher, Sova, and Omen. We're seeing how Omen and Sova are really preferred for open maps like this. Their rechargeable smoke and recon dart are super effective in wide spacious areas. We also see TenZ's signature Jett come out as a comfort pick, similar to TSM Drone's Phoenix. Even though other picks might seem slightly better, the idea of comfort picks is that a player selects something they know they're good at and can dominate with. So even though it is a bit of a risk team comp wise, these are the best of the best and they know they can make this agent work. Onto the pistol round we go, and we see both teams doing a very default setup to watch all angles. For TSM, we have default smokes going onto the catwalk and markets while Sub Rosa decides to creep up the catwalk with Haze holding any possible push through the smoke on markets. I always notice this, but Sub Rosa really likes taking first contact a lot of the times with Brimstone. Brimstone in general isn't the best agent for this as he has really great utility for later in the rounds during post plant, but on pistol it's fine here as they still have an Omen still if he dies. Here we see TenZ in a great spot inside the smoke prowling for any prey, and he spots Sub Rosa right as the smoke fades away. Relics here actually helps smoke catwalk off, which turns it into a 1v1 inside the smoke with TenZ and Sub Rosa, which TenZ wins, which is a great man advantage for C9. TenZ then falls back to A, closing the door. For you viewers out there, notice how he falls back and repositions after a kill. Very smart and not greedy as he could have been traded out if he stayed on catwalk a bit longer. Now he's in a much safer spot with backup from his teammate on side A. TSM down man decides to group up towards A and Drone gets a big pick mid and equalizes the situation out. TSM set up with an A smoke on Heaven and have a great paranoia onto Generator hitting 2 people, but they are running right into the waiting hands of TenZ. I want you guys to take a second and notice how TenZ is using his cloud burst. This is one of those things that make Jett so special, and Jett mains need to utilize this more. Jett smokes come out very fast and you have a lot of control over where they're placed. TenZ first sets a quick one-way smoke that causes TSM to hesitate on the push. One-way smokes are very deadly because they allow defenders to see attackers pushing in and shoot them without attackers being able to see the defenders. He also puts another cloudburst on the middle of site to allow defenders to spread out more and not be stuck both behind Generator. TenZ also knows that attackers could be possibly trying to push through the cyber cage, so he starts spamming it. Learn from this. If you have something like a ghost which has a total of 60 bullets, don't be afraid to spam the smoke if you think they're there. TenZ gets a kill through the smoke and then proceeds to clean them up with the help of Shinobi with the 2k. Great hold. After a clean second round eco, onto the first gun round we go. We'll see that C9 are taking their guns from second round and not upgrading. This is really good for their economy as they'll still be able to buy next round and break their opponent's economy by winning the round after. I want to point out here that we saw Shinobi on A the first round. They're actually switching it up between Cypher and Sova, which I absolutely love. This will keep TSM on their toes and really confuse them. You'll also notice Shinobi has an Odin. This might seem troll at first, but paired with his recon bolt into B main, it makes for a very effective spamming spot. This is extremely well thought out by C9. Again, pretty default smokes coming out from both sides, but no team is taking mid super aggressively. After making sure C9 isn't pushing out anywhere, TSM decides to group up for a B split with Haze lurking passively in the markets. Relics is a little bit caught out in no man's land and gets detected by the recon dart and gets picked off. It starts out really well for TSM, but then it gets a little bit messy after getting 2 kills. They think B is clear, but unfortunately it is not. Mitch is actually hiding in the backside and gets 2 kills. TSM really needed to clear backside out there, and that mistake was very costly. It turns into a 2v2 and C9 are doing a great job getting information first before pushing in. Unfortunately, TenZ, after spamming the shed wall, he gets spammed back and dies. For here, I don't quite understand what Subrosa is looking at with lane mollied out. He should really be focused on stairs with Cypher holding the lane to his right. Vice waltzes in and kills a confused Subrosa and has great crosshair placement to instantly double dink color, and C9 steals the first gun round. Great execution by TSM, but they forget to clear backside and choke on the 2v1. C9 loses 4 members, but remember, they have great money as they didn't upgrade on the 3rd round. Moving on to the 5th round, TSM are just fed up and decide to go very aggressive for mid control with 4 people and trapwires to hold the flank. For C9, Vice actually has trapwires set up for B and mid even though he's holding A. Remember, when you are playing Cypher, switch up your trapwire spots like you see what Vice is doing here. Always keep the opponent guessing. Mitch pushes out and sees nobody in B main, so he starts pushing further, but gets met by Wardale's op. With a man up, TSM start heading for an A split with 4 catwalk and Cypher slowly clearing out A main. As soon as C9 feel like A is in danger, they close the door conceding the tree area. C9 sets up an aggressive play for TenZ with his knives plus Relic's paranoia. It then becomes a crazy back and forth, but they just start scrapping in the tree room and it becomes a complete bloodshed. It's then left to a 1v1 between Relics and Cutler. From here, Cutler knows exactly where Relics is, but Relics swings out and completely utterly destroys him. TSM should be tilted off the face of the planet by now. They lost a pretty easy 2v1 on the 3rd round and then a close 1v1 on the 5th round. Their mental is now boom. 7th round is on the way and TSM desperately needs some rounds on the board. TSM decides to concede mid and just play 4 A main with Drone holding the flank in B main. Relics tries some tricky play right here by using his Shrouded Step to get to Wine, but I'm pretty sure TSM hears the TP. It's hard to say, but in hindsight, Wardale could have used his shock darts to kill Relics in that corner with the teammate holding it. Wardale was probably afraid of Omen just straight up wide swinging, so he wanted to hold the angle. Relics does use a lot of his utility though with Paranoia and a dark cover, but he does get away safely with his second Shrouded Step. With all that time passed, TSM are slowly creeping onto this huge A split with 3 A main and 2 catwalk. With no presence mid or B, Mitch has actually rotated into tree room and it has a great fantastic setup here with walls and slow orbs. He actually chooses not to wall though when Phoenix ultis and the enemy smokes come out, but they do manage to shut down this A short push. Funny thing to note here is actually Subrosa does get walled off, messing up his aim. Wardale tries to equalize with his Hunter's Fury, but gets nothing. And at A main, if you look at this brutal crossfire between TenZ and Relics, TSM have very little chance to get through this as they don't have their flash with them A main. TSM have to dry peek this and Hayes gets a very good entry pick, but TenZ gets 2 and then gets traded out. It becomes a 3v2 quickly turned into a 3v1 with Mitch taking down Drone. Wardale is all alone but fully capable of finishing this clutch. He fakes the bomb and really wants to kill afterward as he knows someone is going to push from tree, but he gets taken out by Mitch. Wardale plays this very well. If you have time on the clock, you need to get picks to turn it into 1v1 and then from there you can play the bomb. The fake plant is usually a very good play. Even though it didn't work out here, the idea is very good and usually makes the enemy push to try and kill you, giving you an opportunity to kill them. On the 9th round, we see TSM 4 mid early and Drone again working B main by himself. After prodding around a bit, TSM decides to do a B split. C9 actually rotated 3 members towards A prior to this push. Since TSM had been really aggressive into the tree room in the previous round, C9 had been giving up that area of the map pretty freely, so they think it's going to be another A hit. Well, it's not. TSM have Subrosa lurking in the markets while the remainder of TSM go B main for a full contact B. Something I want to note here from C9 is that this defense reminds me a lot of CSGO Dust 2, where they sometimes just hold up the defenders inside B site and give up mid. Big Dust 2 vibes here. With only 15 seconds on the clock though, TSM is way too slow on this push. They need to give themselves at least 25 seconds for any utility there is such as Sage Wall, Slow, or Ultimates, and if there are any, they are completely screwed. TSM commit to the orbital strike, pushing Shinobi out of position, but he gets 2 kills swinging with the Odin. He needs to be traded there. With time running out, TSM can't afford to clear properly and just have to run in and try to plant. Mitch does a great job in his position and holds it down. 11th round on the way and not much to say, it's looking like a huge shutout. TSM is very frustrated as nothing is going their way. They decide to 5-man push A and Drone is going to be leading the charge. TSM smoke out Heaven in A short and they bulldoze their way in. I'm not sure if Sub Rosa missed the molly here or it landed as intended, but in hindsight it's probably better to molly out one of those corners under Heaven out. Generator would also be a great place to molly. Relics tries to peek out of Heaven smoke with his paranoia, but gets destroyed. Tens also peeks out through the smoke and gets Brim with Vice also getting one underneath him. Color quickly returns onto Vice though, and Tens also dies, leading to a 2v2 which TSM gets some nice shots and close it out for their first round of the game. Just some hindsight here, but at the beginning of the round, Sova recon darts into B main with Mitch very pushed up and spots nothing in B main. They should have rotated Sova off to mid a lot sooner in my opinion, as Sova is essentially doing nothing here after his recon dart. Also with Tens holding mid with an operator, they don't really need two people holding that. C9 see no presence mid nor B main. I feel like there's some misallocation of manpower here and there's no reason not to have another person in tree room holding the A short push. Last round of the half, again a lot of the same defaults, but Hayes tries to shrouded step onto the wall near mid link and gets opped by Relics, making a very quick 4v5 for TSM. Subrosa goes for an aggressive push through the smoke to try and equalize and does get the return kill, but quickly traded out by Shinobi. 4v3 as Vice starts pushing out A main, and that causes C9 to think it's going to be some sort of B hit, so Tens rotates off to hold mid. TSM decide to actually hit A through A short though. This sort of favors C9 in some kind of odd way as Drone just wastes his ultimate seeing nobody through the A push. They would have really liked to get a kill on A with Phoenix's run it back. Due to Vice pushing all the way, he actually catches Drone's starting location out with the run it back. With it being a 4v2 retake, C9 does not throw this and they close it out beautifully. Second pistol and match point for C9 as they are 11-1. What a dominating performance by C9. In this round, they first hold for pushes and then they have 3 go out mid. They actually opt to not smoke Catwalk but only Markets instead. It seems like they really want to fight this Catwalk guy if he decides to peek out. They then decide to call everybody back to B besides Shinobi. Shinobi gets up Catwalk and his job here is to be a distraction holding as many defenders on A as possible. He does an extremely good job as there's still 3 people towards A site by the time C9 starts pushing into B. Shinobi then rotates to mid trying to catch rotations. Hayes is a little unaware enemies could be pushed up here with nobody watching mid and he gets caught out with his knife out. It's up to Drone and Color to hold the site with 15 seconds remaining, so they'd have to just stay alive and kill the planter. But they can't hold as C9 just straight up jump in the site and plant, leaving Sub Rosa alive in a 1v3. After 10 spots him, it's over. After this round, TSM have nothing left to do besides roll over and accept their defeat. TSM on the last round are on a very broken bye and just get completely rolled A site, leading to a very clean and dominate 13-1 performance by C9. In regards to TSM not running Sage, I believe Sage would have helped out some rounds even though C9 still probably would have won. TSM were picked off a lot and Resurrection would have gave them a lot of second chances and helped out for sure. There were also a lot of plays they could have done like walling themselves over smokes or over enemy Sage wall that just wasn't available because they had no Sage. If I were to give up an agent here for TSM, I would probably trade Phoenix for Sage here. But it's hard to say because Drone is so proficient on the Phoenix, it just wouldn't make too much sense. For the most part, I think it was just that TSM lost some crucial early rounds and got tilted, leading to a lot of momentum buildup for C9, but Sage would have given TSM a lot more chances to come back. Overall, what a performance by C9 to roll such an established team in the scene. I'm sure TSM were very tilted after losing so many close early game rounds, but you have to keep your head in the game. C9 played such a beautiful game and had great defensive holds, as well as breaking TSM's money consistently almost every round. I think for like half the game, TSM was just saving. If C9 shows form like this consistently, we'll have a very exciting and bright future for Valorant, and we love to see it. Hope you guys enjoyed the analysis and stay tuned for future videos. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys soon. As always, my name is Trey and I'll bid you adieu.